Okay, so if you've been on social media lately, you've probably seen it. These posts going viral claiming a new national rent law is coming in 2025 and it's going to change everything for landlords and tenants. But, how much of that is the real deal and how much is just internet noise? Let's get into it and separate the truth from the myth. And these rumors are getting super specific, right? You're hearing about things like all rent agreements have to be online, there are going to be new rent courts, and strict new caps on security deposits. I mean, it sounds like a total game changer. So the big question is any of this for real? Let's just zero in on one of the biggest claims making the rounds, the idea that nationwide security deposits are now capped at just 2 months' rent. It's a very specific number, it sounds pretty official, and boy, has it gotten a lot of people talking. So, what's the actual story here? All right, let's just cut right to the chase. All those viral claims, they are 100% false. There is no new National Rent Act coming in 2025, no new home rent rules. The entire thing comes from a huge, and I mean huge, misunderstanding of how lawmaking in India actually works. So you might be asking, why is it impossible? How can we be so sure? Well, the answer isn't in some new government policy, but in the rule book for the entire country, the Constitution itself. Let's look at the one crucial detail that makes all these viral claims just fall flat. It all comes down to a part of the Constitution called the State List. And if you look at entry 18 on that list, it's crystal clear. Only state governments have the power to make laws about tenancy and rent. The central government simply can't do it. It's not in their jurisdiction. They don't have the constitutional authority. And this slide really breaks it down perfectly. Think of it this way. The central government can write up a suggestion, a model law, and say, hey, this is a pretty good idea. But that's all it is, a suggestion. It's the individual state governments that have the actual legislative power to pass a real enforceable law. So if there's no national law, then where on earth did all these rumors come from? Well, the source of all this confusion has a name, the Model Tenancy Act, or MTA. And understanding what this is, and more importantly, what it isn't, is the key to unlocking this whole thing. The most important thing to get about the Model Tenancy Act is that word right in the middle, model. It's not a law, it's a template. Think of it as a set of recommendations that the central government drafted back in 2021. They sent it out to all the states who could then choose to adopt it, change it up, or just, ignore it. So did all the states jump on board and adopt this new model? Not even close. Out of all the states and union territories in India, only 4 have actually passed their own laws based on this act. That's it, just 4. And this chart really puts that into perspective, doesn't it? That tiny little bar on the left, that's the handful of states that adopted some form of the MTA. And that huge bar on the right, yeah, that's pretty much everyone else. The vast, overwhelming majority of the country has not adopted these rules. And here they are, the only 4 states we're talking about: Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Tamil Nadu, and Uttar Pradesh. So here's the bottom line. If you don't live in one of those 4 states, all those viral posts you're seeing about new rent rules, they have absolutely nothing to do with you. But this isn't just harmless internet chatter. This kind of misinformation creates very real problems for both tenants and landlords. So let's just go ahead and tackle those viral claims one by one and see how they actually hold up. So this table lays it all out. The myth says all agreements must be online. The reality? Only in those 4 states. The myth says the security deposit is capped at 2 months. Reality? Again, only in those 4 states. In a state like Karnataka, for example, it's common to ask for 10 months. As for new rent courts and 60-day eviction rulings, those are just proposals in the Model Act, not a nationwide reality at all. And here's why this is so important. A tenant sees a video and they believe that the 2-month deposit rule is the law everywhere. So they argue with their landlord, who in their state is completely within their rights to ask for more. This misinformation directly creates arguments and stress that just didn't need to happen. And it's not just tenants. Landlords get worried too. They start thinking their standard rental agreement might be illegal now, or that they're breaking some new rule that doesn't even exist in their state. It just creates this cycle of confusion and anxiety for everybody. Okay, so let's cut through all the noise one last time and just summarize what you actually need to know. Let's just run through the key takeaways. First, and most importantly, there is no new Rent Act 2025. It's just not real. Second, remember the Model Tenancy Act is just a suggestion. It's not a law that applies to everyone. Third, almost every state is just following its own, often much older rent control acts. And that leads to the final point, which is the most important one. Everything depends on the law in your specific state. So, after all this, it leaves us with one final and I think really important question. The real issue isn't some fake law from the future. The real question is for right here, right now. Instead of worrying about viral rumors, the most powerful thing you can do is ask yourself, do I actually know the real rules that apply to me right where I live?